Yeah, we back. We back. We back. We back. What up? What up? What up? Opps SportsCast
Go
live
Knicks.
May 20th. 66th episode in the books, and maybe our most fun one because the New York Knicks are in the finals, and we're very happy about that. Our first appearance since 1999. We'll be talking the stunning sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers and much, much more. We got quite the show for you today, so make sure that you lock in, hit like and subscribe on your way in. We'll have the whole crew with us here soon enough. Zeke is on his way. We're going to be talking a lot of different, diverse set of topics. We're going to be talking Knicks making it to the finals. We're going to be talking the Spurs Thunder series and the flop and fallout is, got a lot of people talking about that, about how, potential bias with the refs. We're going to be talking about a baseball player, a former star baseball player, found guilty of sexual assault of a minor. And he was convicted in a Dominican Republic court, and they ruled guilty. He received no jail time.
None.
And so we'll be talking about that as well. A Japanese manager steps down or resigns from his post of one of the premier teams in the Japanese Baseball League. How does AI play a role in what happened there? And so we'll be getting into that as well as much, much more. But you got to stay with us and lock in. We got the whole crew with us. Josh is back in the mix. Welcome back, my friend. And then we also have Dave in the cut,
Yeah.
up in the building. Big Zeke is on his way. Fellas, how we feeling, baby?
Yo,
NBA Finals.
I'm so glad that Josh is back so that I can stop hearing all the hate from Zeke every time I mess up a transition or something.
Here we
He
go.
gotta throw out there, oh, I wish Josh was here. So welcome back, Josh.
Man, it's good to be back.
For
Hope
sure,
you're
for
feeling
sure.
better too, bro.
Getting there, man. One day at a time.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got to start off the podcast talking about I think the biggest news. The New York Knicks are back in the NBA Finals, folks.
I
They're back. They're back. With the sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers, which, you know what? Hindsight has everybody saying, like, they had the weakest road to the playoffs and all this kind of nonsense. But hey, we're in the finals. If you're a New York Knicks fan and you know the struggle and their struggle, I've seen plenty of posts of, the lineup that the Knicks rolled out there from back in the day where we had literally nobody that you would even remember. It'd be a really hard trivia pursuit question, even if you're a Knicks fan, to name the starting lineup for some of the teams that we rolled out there year after year. But yeah, this is a good squad. This is a good squad. And so let's start off the conversation with just first off, how impressive was that sweep? How impressive was that sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Josh, we'll start with you. Welcome back, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Shout out Birdo, man. You're like a day one legend, man. Appreciate you for always being here.
For
Um,
sure.
so I don't think it was that impressive because to me, the NBA East has been kind of whack for the past few years. Um, it almost
Here we
feels
go.
It almost feels like when LeBron left Miami and took his talents over to the other beach over there on the West Coast. It feels like the East has been just bummy. And
Oh my goodness, here we
so
go.
for me, I really don't see the big hype about the Knicks sweeping and beating the Cavs because the Cavs haven't done anything just like every other Cleveland team in God knows how long. And so I really don't. I don't see it as like a major feat. Do the Cavs have a good squad? I guess if you want to I don't know what you're measuring it up against, but um, I really don't see. Let's just put it this way: I expected the Knicks to whoop on the Cavs.
Listen, I was hoping you said that. I've come prepared this week, fellas. Everyone keeps talking about how the East is so much inferior to the West this whole week. Every single sports program is talking about, oh, the West has got a much better, there's much better teams out there on the West, right? And so I did a little bit of research. I tend to do that sometimes, especially when I'm a little upset, right? And a simple Google search, and you'll see that the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference split play this year. Exact same win-loss record. Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference. So I dug a little bit further. And I was there like, all right, but what about the top teams in the West and the top teams in the East? What's their record? This is the stats from the 2025-2026 season. Throughout the 2025 and 2026 season, the East improved significantly in interconference matchups, with the top 8 Eastern Conference seeds finishing 45 and 44 against the top Western Conference teams. They had a winning record, the Eastern Conference teams, against the top 8 Western Conference teams. You know, Josh, the weaker conference. Not to mention, in the NBA Playoff Cup, the Knicks played your San Antonio Spurs. And Dave, can you remind a brother what happened when they played? I'm having a hard time remembering. Can you just help me out, bro? Oh, you're muted.
Tell us, Josh. I want to hear. I want to hear Josh. I want to hear it come out of Josh's mouth because he spent so much time talking us down. What happened, Josh?
Oh,
What happened?
the Knicks won the most
No, no,
ridiculous
no, no,
the
no.
most ridiculous trophy because let's talk about it. Let's talk about that for a quick second.
Nah, I couldn't hear that.
Let's
What
talk
happened there,
about it.
Josh?
When the greatest player to ever touch the wood floor in Chicago, did they have a play-in tournament during this time? Do you think he would have even cared about a play-in tournament during his tenure in Chicago?
This ain't about the playing tournament.
I know it's not about, right? What it's about is the Knicks winning a meaningless trophy that does not mean a championship because guess what they want over a play-in tournament championship trophy? An actual NBA trophy. They don't care about what they did mid-season of the NBA 2025-2026 season. They only care about what's ahead of them. It means nothing. It means nothing.
It means that the East is capable of beating the West, unfortunately, because the East is going to beat the West this year. Because the New York Knickerbockers, from the land of orange and blue skies, are coming to take the trip this year, fellas. It's gonna happen. We coming for you. We coming for you.
I you know, I hope for your sake, Beezy. I hope for your sake. Because the past discussions that we've had have not been good for your sports base, and
Yeah, pretty much.
I hope you get something out of this.
You know what? If the Knicks can win the championship, that might just get me through the summer. Because yes, I was just gonna say that the Knicks have to. Because how am I gonna get through the summer watching the Mets? Like I can ride the glow of that championship for a few months and not even care that the Mets are complete trash. I can do that. I think I can manage. But yeah, we need to come through. But my point is that everybody is talking about how bad the Eastern Conference was, and the Eastern Conference did well against the Western Conference, and the Eastern Conference best teams did actually very well and fare better than the Western Conference against their best teams. So yeah, sure, the bottom of the Eastern Conference is really bad. But the top of the Eastern Conference was not. The Pistons played amazing this year in the regular season, and they beat a whole bunch of teams with one of the best records in all of basketball. And then the Knicks, they beat the Spurs. I think it was out of three times they played, or maybe it was three out of four times. I know we only lost once to the Spurs this year. I think we played. I think we beat them two out of three times. So there you have it. There you have it. I think we match up really well with them, but no one has seen the Knicks play this well. Right? Right, Dave? Have you ever seen the New York Knicks this good?
I haven't. I haven't. And so, you know, I'll give Josh the whole, you know, end season tournament thing. That is kind of crash. It's not what we're what we're shooting for. But they did win it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not their fault that the league put that in play. And I don't know, man. I feel like the Knicks team that I'm watching right now, it just seems like they got out to a 23-point lead with so much like so much ease. It was ridiculous. The transition points of grabbing a rebound, outletting to one person just streaming down the court. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they said 14 or 16 points in the first half just from doing that alone. I've not seen a Knicks team mesh as well as these guys are meshing, and I think what went down, man, was that everybody was with all this hype around James Harden. Oh, James Harden can't win the big game. He's going to tire out and blah blah blah. I think that the expectation was they were going to try to get James Harden off in the game, and it seemed like whoever was guarding, Harden was they were giving it to him, man. They were like he didn't have an opportunity to do anything, and it's not like he could anyway. I feel like he went from being first ballot without question to I don't know what he is now. And I think all of the hopping around from team to team not only hurt his credibility, man, but like his focus was just all off. Instead of going in there and being who he should have been and who he could have been, he wanted to go in there and have the teams manipulate their rosters to fit what he wanted to do. But getting back to my Knicks, what I don't want to hear is I don't want to hear from Rich Eisen. I don't want to hear anything from Rich Eisen. I don't want to hear anything from Stephen A. Smith. I don't ever want to hear a sports take from Stephen A. Smith ever again. I don't want to hear anything from what's the cat that looks like Hans Gruber? Nick Wright looks like Hans
Okay.
Gruber from
Nick wrong.
yeah. He looks like Hans Gruber, the villain that played in that Bruce Willis movie about the skyscraper. I don't want to hear from any of those three, man, because all of them said, especially Stephen A. Smith, who's supposed to be a Knicks fan, right? I've never seen anybody throw down his team so many times. "Oh, I'm done with the Knicks, man. I'm done." Who does that, bro? I don't care how bad the Yankees have sucked over there. I would never do that to the Yankees, and I would never do it to the Knicks either. So I don't want to hear from any of these guys because all of them said that Jalen Brunson was not worth the money that the Knicks gave him. And another person that I don't want to hear from is Becky Hammond. I don't want to hear a
Mm.
word from Becky Hammond about how a small player cannot lead a team to a championship. Because I tell you what, her team that she coveted so much and that she coached for had a point guard named Tony Parker that was the catalyst to driving those teams. Yeah, they had Tim Duncan. Okay, don't get me wrong, and they had Manu Ginobili. They had some good players. They had great players, but the general was Tony Parker. And if I'm not mistaken, he led them to championships. And I think Becky Hammond is just flapping her chops because she has this undying love affair for the Spurs because they gave her first shot, so her vision is a little clouded. So anyhow, back to your original question, man. I'm sorry. I've not seen the Knicks look this good, man. And everybody is doing their thing. Everybody. So if we
Yeah,
can
it's
cat focus, man, and like him not worrying about getting calls and stuff like that, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, what they did to kind of switch things up with the Knicks is they kind of moved Carl Anthony Towns out on the perimeter and kind of made him a point, a point forward, if you will, where he's like distributing the ball. And I think that's going to match up really well if we face the Spurs, but I don't think so. I think Thunder probably close it out next game. But I think we would have matched up really well with the Spurs. But I think the way that our offense is rolling, what do people really expect? Like if they're saying the East is weak, okay, put a Western team, conference team in there, right on the Eastern side of the bracket. Do any of those Western Conference teams beat the teams the way that the New York Knicks just beat down these teams, 30 and 40 point victories? I doubt it. I really doubt it. We've never seen it before in NBA history. The kind of margin of victory that the Knicks have put on the Cavs, on the Sixers, on the Atlanta Hawks. We've never seen this before. So if you're saying that the East is weak out there, just letting you know, the Knicks have handled their business, and we're going to see if they can handle their business in the finals. And I can't wait to find out. The talk right now is and I don't know if you guys want to get into this or not. Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do this next week if you want. But the talk right now around the block is if if Brunson wins the title, does that make him the greatest New York Nick of all time?
No, it doesn't. I'll answer that right now.
Even if he wins it all?
Yeah, man. Even if he wins it all, there's been too many. There's been too many Knicks players, man. That no, he just. I can't. I can't do that, man. I can't. That's like I don't know, man. That we're getting back to the whole people crowning people before it's disrespectful to the legends that played in the Knicks uniform to say because he bought a chip that makes him the greatest Knick of all time. And that's you gotta remember, man, they won back in 1970, right? Was it
Yeah.
70? What was it? 73. Sorry,
Who do
73.
you got as the greatest Nick, or do you have multiple Nicks ahead of Brunson, or is it just one or two? Who would you have ahead of Brunson?
I mean, there's so many of them, man. It's like,
Really, that many? Okay.
man, I mean, what So Walt Frazier, have you ever seen Walt Frazier when he played for the Knicks?
Lucito said just because Charlie Ward punched Kobe, he's ahead of Brunson.
Yo,
Yo, that's an epic take, bro. Thank you for that.
you know, um, I look at Bernard King. Bernard King was a legend when he played for the Knicks, man. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously you got Patrick Ewing. You know,
Ahead of Brunson, though, even if he wins the chip.
I'm talking about the totality, man. I'm not just talking about Brunson showing up and being here for 3 4 years and then he wins the chip and it's like, oh, he's the greatest Nick, man. It's like,
As a Knick fan that grew up watching the Knicks, and I became a fan with Ewan on the team, him and Starks. Brother, they didn't win a championship, man. And so to me, it's there like I've been tortured watching the Knicks fail to win a championship. If
listen,
Brunson
no,
can win me a championship, in my book, he leapfrogs
nah, man.
Patrick Ewing
I'm gonna
and
tell you
Brunson
why.
going to the
everybody
Hall of
on
Fame?
those 90s squads.
I'm gonna tell you
Is
why.
Brunson going to
Carmelo
the Hall of Fame?
Anthony.
I'm
Listen,
sorry, what you says, Z? Welcome to the show, bro.
Is Brunson going to the Hall of Fame?
I think he probably
If he
will one
puts
day,
together
yeah.
if he puts together a Hall of Fame career, we can revisit this discussion. But based
No,
on
no, no.
him
He's in
already,
the. I think he's in the process of putting together a Hall of Fame career. He already has more points in the playoffs per game than any Knicks in history, and total than any New York Knick in postseason history. He's
and
putting together a Hall of Fame resume right before our eyes.
putting
If he can,
putting together isn't put together. He's got to
for
finish
sure,
the job.
but the only reason for that, Zeke, is because a Hall of Fame resume takes years, and he doesn't have that. But the years that he has put, if he could continue just those years, it's not like, well, he needs to get a little better, and then he can make the Hall of Fame if he can put some years better than those that he put on tape. All he needs to do is continue what he's been doing. That's good enough to make the Hall of Fame if he can continue this level of play for some more years.
Yeah,
If
Correct.
he
this
can
is the thing.
continue this level of play for say another 5, 6 years, you telling me that's not a Hall of Fame resume?
For me though, Peasy, this is the thing. When when Ewing and Starks didn't when they didn't get the chip, who did they go up against?
The Houston Rockets.
Right. The Houston Rockets. That team, man. Now you want to talk about
Pacers,
And
Spurs,
before they got to
What are
the
you talking
Rockets,
about, in the finals or like in the
Timberwolves.
process to get to the finals? Because
finals.
the,
in the
the only time they
process,
made the finals was against the Houston Rockets.
Right. But what I'm
when
saying
when
though
the
is
goat
this.
took a break to go play baseball.
Right. What I'm
Right.
saying though is this. The caliber of players that they went up against, they ran up against a juggernaut when they ran up against Houston.
I wouldn't call them a juggernaut.
Why not?
Man, back
Are
to
you
back.
crazy,
I
man?
mean, who was the Rockets' second best player?
Second best from that squad?
Yeah,
I mean, you could go with Vernon Maxwell. Wasn't Vernon Maxwell on that squad? You
Vernon
could go with
Maxwell in the Hall of
you could,
Fame.
you could go with Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith was
Kenny
on that.
Smith in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not.
So I mean, I want to call them a juggernaut. They were a good team. They
No,
weren't a
no, 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 no,
juggernaut.
no, no. No. Bruh. They steamrolled everybody. They were a juggernaut that season, bro. They steamrolled everybody, man. That team was a juggernaut, man. I don't you could disagree with it if you want, man, but like, I mean, wasn't Robert Ory on that team?
Big shot Bob.
Yeah, but I mean, are you trying to say every team that wins a championship is a juggernaut?
Nope.
No, but what you're
That one
saying is
was.
every player that leads a team to a championship that never had one deserves to be the greatest player on their franchise. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the way that he's doing it, Captain Clutch, willing the team to victory. We have, in my lifetime, we have never seen that on the New York Knicks. And I understand you pay homage to people before my lifetime, like the Bernard Kings, like, dishing and swishing, riding and driving. You know what I mean? I can't stand Walt Clyde Frazier as a Knicks fan, just
Wow.
because
You call
I
yourself
think,
a Knicks fan and you can't stand Walt
bro, like
Frazier?
I could not stand his announcing. It's not nothing to do with him as a player. Him announcing those MSG games when I was a kid drove me nuts. Oh, he's swooping and hooping, dishing and swishing. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like,
Bro,
bro,
that's
stop.
that's his thing, man. That's what makes
It
him.
is his thing, and I was annoyed by it growing up. But I just it's not my cup of tea. But like, nah, man, I never got to see these guys play. Um, Respect to them. But in my lifetime, I'm sorry, man. If he wins the championship, it's the first time I get to celebrate my Knicks winning the championship. He's the New York Knicks GOAT to me. I'm sorry, he just is.
We just have to
Go fella.
disagree. He's not.
I still take Carmelo over him without a championship.
Heck no.
Heck
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
Heck no. And I like Carmelo. I had
He's a
I
Hall
got
of
my,
Famer.
my my baby girl a Carmelo jersey. I went to go see Carmelo play in the Garden. No, I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan. He never got us a chip. And I'll go as far as to say this too. Even during his tenure with the Knicks, I don't remember him ever contributing to winning as much as Jalen Brunson has.
Bro,
Not to winning.
when you're
They
playing
put
He
a
was
against
better
always
team
good
around Brunson than they did
individually.
around Melo.
you're playing against the likes of LeBron and Kobe, and like how are you going to match up? Right, that's the to me that's the difference. Like it was definitely a time and an era. That's why I say like the league is not the same. It really isn't. When it comes to
Well,
matchup compatibility and team structure, like just the sheer killer instinct across multiple teams.
Yo,
yeah,
so
but I
check
mean,
this
his
out.
style of play was not conducive to winning basketball. The ball stopped when it got in his hands. Everybody watched him, and then you had losing basketball. It wasn't. We didn't get as far. We never even made the finals with Carmelo, so he
Bruh,
can't be higher
he's a Hall
than
of Famer,
Jalen
man.
Brunson.
He's a Hall
He's
of
a
Famer.
Hall of Famer for his personal accolades. I would trade those for a championship as a Knicks fan.
I don't know, man, because guess what? That championship doesn't equate to one single player. It equates to a minimum of five because it takes five people on the court to win a basketball game. So
You're absolutely right, Josh.
I would not
But we
equate
had a
one
we
player.
had a team, and we traded the entire team to get Carmelo because he was
That's not
pouting
his
and
fault.
couldn't wait a year. It's
That's on
not his
the
fault,
Knicks.
but he couldn't wait a year to get to New York. It's like, bro, just come in free agency, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you know you
That's
want to
on
go
the
to the
Knicks,
They could have
Knicks,
told him
why
wait till
push?
free agency, we'll sign you. That wasn't his fault. They traded the team for him.
right?
They
Yeah,
didn't do
That's
him
on
any
Bro,
the
it's
favors
it's
with
that's
not.
very
trading
But
him.
that's very
we had
true.
a very dumb organization that gave away all the talent to get Carmelo, and
Yeah,
then he was just there on an island. We finally get Amari Stoudemire, and he has at least a running mate. But the way that they play basketball, the ball stopped when it got into Amari's hands. The ball stopped when it got into Carmelo's hands. Bro, we got a squad now, and Jalen Brunson is figuring out how to keep the ball moving. I'm excited, man. It should be a lot of fun.
he's
It's going
always
to be a
been on
lot of
the
fun.
floor as much as
that's why I'm
SGA.
worried because you like way up here, and that's just more room for you to come crashing back down to earth when the trophy go out west.
So check this out. Top six Knicks recently. Top six Knicks voted all time. Patrick Ewing, Walt Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed, Carmelo Anthony, Bernard King, Earl of Pearl Monroe.
Very good squad.
Pretty good lineup.
That
And
is a
Chris
good
is like,
lineup.
they're all in black and white. I don't care.
No, they weren't in black and
Bro,
white.
that's so facts, Zeke.
That's
Like,
crazy. Yo,
that's so
Listen,
facts.
I didn't say that.
Give
Chris
me
yo,
said
Jalen
crazy.
Brunson.
Yo, Clyde and Willis Reed were the only one. Them dudes wasn't in black and white. Them the only.
listen, I know that. Listen, I know that, Dave. But Chris is like, I never saw him play, so they don't matter.
I know, man.
Bro, if we win a chip, none of that has three manners. Bro, as a Knicks fan, we went
That's
decades,
like
No,
that's
Josh.
like me
I know
listen,
saying
as a
man.
Spurs fan, you went no, no, hold
You
on.
couldn't
Let
be
me
more
talk about
wrong.
Josh for a second.
You
As a
couldn't be
Spurs
more
fan, he
wrong.
goes from David Robinson
You
to
couldn't be
Tim
more wrong,
Duncan
bro.
to the alien. He don't know struggle like this, man.
You
We
couldn't
don't
be
know
more wrong.
struggle.
The last time we made it to the playoffs is when Kawhi was wearing a Spurs jersey.
Listen,
Like,
man. Two
I know
people
the
on that
struggle.
list have two
Bro,
chips. Listen, two people on that list have two chips. Brunson doesn't even have one yet. So the disrespect that's being shown, he don't
but
even
no, no,
have
no,
a
no.
chip yet. And you,
Qualify what I said. I said if he wins a championship, not right now. I
even
said
doesn't
if he
if he
does,
does.
if he wins one, he's still down one to those two gentlemen.
And
So
I
how
do
do you
not
equate him
care
being the greatest Nick of all time when you got
because he
Clyde
will
Frazier,
be.
you got Willis Reed with two chips? Stop it, man.
All right. All right. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
Keep
Um,
talking though. We got to get through this next little small segment, even though we're out of time. You brought
yeah,
up
yeah,
Spurs. Let's get to it.
yeah. Guys, well, are the Spurs cooked? I think they are, but that's just me trying to be peasy Damas here. Um, I think
go
they
ahead, be
go out
peasy,
in
Dominic.
six.
Go ahead and put all your marbles on the Thunder so we can see the Spurs win the next two
Thank
and
you.
make it to the finals.
Thank you.
Bro,
Put
I'm pushing
put
all
the
the
You don't have
chips
a
Rockets
in,
good,
on them.
you don't have a good track
pushing
history.
all the chips in, man. Pushing all the chips in. The Spurs are cooked, bro. They can't make jumpers. They're cooked. Put a fork in them. The flopping is just proven to be too much. The way that Wemby looked that last game, he didn't look good. But the if the refs are going to continue to give the Thunder every single call, And I do feel for the Spurs. They're getting every single call. There is not much the San Antonio Spurs are going to be able to do.
Thank
But
you.
I think the biggest problem is, and you guys can disagree, or is that people are crowning Victor Wembanyama as the greatest basketball player alive, and he doesn't. And this was something that I heard them talking about today, and it's something I was thinking about already. He only had 4 baskets, and they were like alley hoops. It's like a Blake Griffin special, right? That's the only ones that he got. He's 7 foot tall, but he's tremendously skilled. He doesn't have a go-to move. It's not like Carmelo Anthony, one dribble spin, shot, right? It's not like the dream shake. It's not like Shaq where he gets the ball, dribble move, power, spin move, pivot, dunk. He don't like when you give the ball to Wemby, what happens after that? We don't know. He's either
Yes, we
he
do.
can dribble. What happened last game, Josh? You gave him the ball.
Well,
He only got 4 made baskets,
let's
bro.
talk through that logistically, PZ. Let's just say, for example, you're 7'4" and I'm 7 foot or 6'8", right? Let's say that's the matchup. And my game plan is to hold you, not get any calls, and to wear you down physically. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean they're having a rough time with the referees.
Okay. So then what you're doing is you're counter arguing your argument with that statement, in my opinion, right? I'm not saying that Wemby is the greatest basketball player right now in the NBA. That's other individuals.
Wait a
But
minute,
if you,
Josh. You're not saying if he wins a chip, he's the greatest
absolutely
Spur of
not.
all time?
He's got big shoes to fill even at
Bro, but
7.
that's because the Spurs actually have a decent history. The Knicks don't, bro.
I mean, the Knicks, I think, do have a great history. They just don't have a winning history,
They don't have a history in Chris's lifetime, so it doesn't matter.
right? They
Y'all
have a
remember his
great
all-time catchers
history
list, right?
from the
Everybody
perspective
played in like
of
1996 and later. If it didn't happen on
Bro,
his
that's
TV
that's
screen, it
facts.
didn't happen.
It did not happen, Zeke. It did not happen. Go ahead, Josh.
But
Sorry,
but
Josh.
where I'm going with this is this, like the fact that Wemby is 7'4", built like a stick figure that my
No,
7-year-old drew, and putting up the numbers that he's doing right now is insane to me. The fact that the man can even dribble, cross anyone over, dunk over anyone, right? And you guys, like it's been said before, oh man, he's got an 8 foot wingspan. Like he should be able to dunk without jumping. Yeah, but not in mid contact. Like the dude is a twig, honestly, and I'm speaking respectfully here because I think he is a beast.
Bro,
But
but like at the end of the game, what I'm trying to say is like at the end of the game, you need a bucket. You give it to Michael Jordan. He's hitting a fadeaway. I don't care what kind of defense you put on him,
did
right?
you not see 2 games ago before the half closed out? They needed a bucket, and what does he do? 3-pointer from 57 feet, whatever it was. Like
like it
that,
was a
they're
free
putting
throw.
the ball in his hands, but they can't do that when he's in the post being hugged like a tree. They can't do it, and the refs aren't calling it.
A
Here,
three-pointer is not a go-to move unless your name is Steph Curry. He's not Steph Curry though.
well, listen, he's hitting threes. They
Not
tossed it up
consistently.
on his hands with 7 seconds to go.
He can't create his own shot on those threes. He needs a go-to move. He needs to
Create
get
his
into
own
the
shot.
lab.
He literally crossed the dude and shot
Yeah,
from
He
that,
can create his
double.
own shot. I've seen him. I've seen him with the cross step back.
Yes.
He can do some
Watch
things,
the
man.
replays. He's creating the
Don't
space and
don't
then
sell my man
shooting.
short.
To me, that's more impressive than a short guy who has quick left and right steps, who can make space off of a quick move. Where this dude, it takes him longer to create space, but yeah, he's still doing it and making shots. It's
well,
impressive.
hopefully we'll be able to see if you can prove me wrong next year when the Knicks play the Spurs in the finals because it won't be happening this year.
All right. Well, you're right. If they keep up with the whole flopping mentality with SGA getting every single call his way, kind of like one of your Knicks, Brunson, and hitting the deck every
Yo,
single shot, every single drive to the
He
basket,
does. He
and
does though.
he does, and this is the biggest problem right here because of this very reason. We have individuals like Peasy saying Jalen Brunson can be the greatest Nick ever in history if he wins a championship this year, while he flops and hits the deck, while Ewing is taking punches going to the bucket. Like what?
Bro, maybe you needed to flop a little bit so my child could have had a championship in it. I'd have
I
been okay with that.
I hear you, but I just can't respect it right now. Like for me,
I wonder how David Stern would have handled this.
right.
So, good point, Zeke.
Not for
Because
nothing.
Adam Silver is way too quiet for me in this situation.
You too
Yes,
soft,
let me
man.
just
That's
throw
what it
this out
is.
there, by the way. The NBA has an official rule for flopping,
It does.
Yep.
an
Yeah.
official rule where refs can call it out on the court, live in the game, when they are watching the game. And they now have the assistance of replays. Guess how many times they called an actual flopping flagrant foul this year?
Twice.
Twice.
Not even once, technically. The
Oh,
second
once.
was repercussion to a replay after the game. It was a fine after the game.
Mm.
Called it live once, and
I think you're right, Josh. They got to start enforcing that so that way they can penalize the teams.
thank you. And that's where I'm at. Is this players now are to the point where they're getting away with literally, like to me, I call it getting away with murder. Like they know that they can get away with it by doing certain things. Like look at this right here. Come on, bro. Like what are we doing? You don't. I don't have a chance at the shot, so I'm just gonna fall on the ground and I'm gonna get a call. What are these refs
So
doing?
my question is tomorrow's game 6. Can they just pivot and start enforcing this now, or do they have to wait until the beginning of the next series or beginning of the next season? Like you're this deep into this season and you've been officiating this team a certain way. Can you just flip the switch and
One
change
hundred
that
percent.
mentality and start enforcing this stuff?
100%. Because if you have the rules behind you, then start enforcing them. Get
The
to
rules have been
get
behind
back
them, so
to it.
why haven't they been enforcing them though?
That's a good question, Zeke. And maybe
And
there's
that's why
more
I'm
to the
saying
story.
if all of a sudden they start doing it after a few people start complaining, and all of a sudden the Spurs go out there and win by 30 because SGA isn't getting these calls that he's been getting for the past 2 years. That's why if they're gonna do something, I don't think they can do it now. I think
But
they're
that's
stuck in a situation
unfair.
where they gotta start doing it
Yeah.
the beginning of the next season.
That's unfair though to the people who have worked this hard to get to this point to 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 to, to go that far to say, well, we haven't
Look,
been
I
calling
hear you,
these
Pim.
calls all year long, so we're not going to call them for the remainder of this year, and we're going to keep ignoring them for that fact, and forget this year's effort. We're going to start next year. That's
So
just
what about the teams that played OKC in the earlier rounds in the playoffs? Is it fair to them for the Spurs to all of a sudden start getting these calls?
to me. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's
Like,
about
I
fairness.
hear I hear where you're coming from,
Yeah,
but if you're this deep into the playoffs,
yeah.
I think you gotta ride on the horse that brought you. And then next
I, I'm
year,
I'm not I'm not
beginning of the
disagreeing
season,
with your
switch it
take,
up.
Zeke. I would just say one thing: the NBA needs to learn a little bit from the NFL. It's never too late to get something right.
Yes.
And so, like the NFL, they get a lot of flack for, how they, conduct business sometimes, right? But sometimes they get things right and they're willing to adapt and change on the fly. When they see, like, hey, competitive imbalance or the fans getting upset about something that's happening on the field, they take action right away. I think that the NBA should learn a little bit from the NFL playbook and start enforcing this because it's everywhere and they have to be seeing it. It's on every social media. It's on every topic for every sports show. This is a problem. It is a problem, and they need to address it. And why not start now? Why not?
I have one more stat to talk about when it comes to flopping. In the semifinals of the NBA playoffs, what teams have we had? OKC, Spurs, Knicks, and Cavs. Are you ready for this right here? for the 2026 NBA playoffs. These are the 5 players with their fall rates on fouled shots and then their fall rate on all shots. SGA, 51.4 on fouled shots, 17.4 on all shots. James Harden, 29.3 fouled shots, 11.9 all shots. Victor Wembanyama, 25 fouled shots, 4.2% all shots. Jalen Brunson, 19.2 fouled shots, 9% fall rate on all shots. Donovan Mitchell, 17.9% fouled shots, 8.4 all shots. Bro, that's insane. The top 5, if you want to call it, players who draw the most contact, so to speak, in the NBA playoffs are the 5 players in the final 4 teams. And it seems to me that the winning recipe is fall on a shot because it's going to get
Wow.
called.
Well, let's add some context to be fair to that. Is
Oh,
that the person who did that study only surveyed those 5 players? So
no,
we
that
have
was
no.
a initial report. They did all players in the NBA finals.
Are you? I don't think they did that. They
I'm
did
all
all players.
100%.
The report that I saw that took that into account only did those 5 players. It's ironic you mentioned those exact 5 players. The report I saw only did those 5 players. And so, but yeah, I mean, we don't know a greater context for the whole NBA and how many and where they fit into the average mean of things. But yeah, I mean,
Yahoo Sports, Tom Haberstraw decided to
yes,
put in
that's
the
the same
work
report.
decided to go and put in the work of going over the film to see how often the OKC star falls down relative to his peers. They took all the NBA
No, they
players.
didn't. They only took those 5 players, Josh. I read the report, but yeah, they took only those 5 players, the stars of the other teams. They didn't take all the players. And definitely it's only been the playoffs and we don't know how many players on other teams are doing the exact same thing and where Jalen Brunson and other like point guards fit into that. Obviously taller players unless your name is Joel Embiid because why wouldn't Joel Embiid be there if they took all players in the playoffs, brother? Joel Embiid fell on nearly every single play and it was a conversation in the second round, right? We were talking about that, how he falls on every single play, and it's no wonder why he's injured. He doesn't even show up in that report. He's not more than Victor. Like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And
Mm,
so, like, it's not all the players. It's just those 5 that he surveyed. Because I gotta imagine, like, there's other players that are much higher than some, maybe all. I think Shea probably will be the winner on that anyway. But I think Embiid will probably be close.
maybe.
But
I feel
but
like if he
uh
was close, he would have been on the list. But I mean,
I
but
agree.
he, they,
they
they only
only surveyed
surveyed those
people in the
5.
playoffs, right?
Yeah. They didn't even survey all the teams in the playoffs because they didn't survey the teams in the first or the second round. It's only been the teams in this round, right? There's no other players on there except teams in this round.
The
All right.
report
Well,
blanked
let's
out names like Luca and me, but
yeah.
that's
Well, Lucas was injured for the playoffs anyway, but they didn't take LeBron, and he's historically known for flopping as well, and he's not on the list. I don't know where he would stack up on the list. I'm not casting aspersion, but like he could be on there. All right, well, let's segue from getting away with murder, as you called it, right, to getting away with a crime in Dominican Republic here. Uh, Star baseball player Wander Franco was found guilty, or I should say, criminally responsible for sexual and psychological abuse of a minor by a judge in Dominican Republic. And the judge ruled that since he's been the victim of extortion and blackmail by the minor's mother, who she was sentenced to 10 years for sexually trafficking her daughter, Wander Franco will serve no time. He will serve no time because of that. Now, fellas, I don't know who are we to question the judge in Dominican Republic, but what should have been a more appropriate decision here? And Dave, I know you know a little bit about Wander Franco. I'll start off with you, brother.
Yeah, so Wander Franco. So for me, man, I like to stick to the facts. I don't want to do any of the I don't want to do any of the allegedly and all of this stuff. The facts are that Wander Franco was 21 years old and he was found guilty of having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl. That's a fact. Okay, and he had he had a physical relationship with this girl, 14 years old. Her mother knew about it. He gave the mother hush money for him to be able to have a relationship with her. He took care of, basically took care of the mom with money, and he's not in prison for it. They found him guilty, but he's serving no prison time because the judge. Okay, this is what I have here. The judges declared that Franco was a material victim, but not a legal one in the case. The court ruled that Franco had been the target of extensive extortion and blackmail by the minor's mother. Now, my thing is, you don't get blackmailed and extorted if you're not in that situation. You know what I'm saying? If you hadn't started this relationship with this girl, you wouldn't even be in this position. Wander Franco is, we've talked about this before, about how organizations tend to get these young players, particularly these young Latin players, right? We discussed this. It's not a knock on Latin players. It's a knock on how pro organizations handle young Latin players. Jose Reyes, when he was with the Mets, the Mets gave over to Jose Reyes, let him do whatever he wants. Jose Reyes was accused a couple of times of domestic violence. He had a horrible attitude. He acted like a baby on the field. He would storm off the field and pout and snatch away from coaches and stuff like that. The Mets gave him the reins. They made him the face of the organization. The Tampa Bay Rays did the same thing with Wander Franco. Wander Franco was the face of their organization. He felt untouchable, like he could do whatever he wanted. He showed up to his major league debut. If I'm not mistaken, he was in a Bentley. He got chauffeured there in a Bentley or something, which is absolutely insane to me. Shows like no humility whatsoever. I've not liked Wander Franco since that incident. Like there's a lack of humility there. Now, Zeke will say, I'll say it for him. Dave is the old guy yelling at the clouds, get off my lawn. It's not even about that. For me, it's about you're showing up to the show. This is your shot to introduce the world to you. And you're coming into a locker room with full of vets, and this is how you decide to show up. There were reports of him being late to meetings. He even got suspended for not showing up to meetings and being late to meetings by the team. This dude was just not a great teammate from what I'm hearing through the reports. So if he can't do something as simple as be a good teammate after investing all of these years into his craft to make it to where he is, and he finally makes it to where he is, and he's like one of the biggest jerks that you could ever encounter. Why would I expect him to be a good human being when nobody is watching? Why would I expect him to be somebody that's going to do the right thing? And if Trevor Bauer can't get a job in MLB, people can hang it up with this dude. I don't know what people are thinking, holding on to his cards and stuff. Oh, he'll get reinstated at some point. He's done, man. He's done. This is like he's not coming back.
That was going to be my next question, Dave. I'll throw it to Zeke here. Um, should Wander? Well, first off, I'll let you answer the first part of this. Zeke, is that what did the judge make the right decision, and do you think Wander Franco should ever play again professionally? Play again?
Um, from what I've seen about this case, um, there should have been some kind of. I mean, I guess you could say the punishment as he lost his major league career. He lost his livelihood pretty much. Um, I think the judge taking into account that he was extorted and was deceived. Um, from what I read, it was like a 4 month relationship, and a couple months in, he found out the truth about how old this girl was and tried to back out of it. And that's when the mother started pressing him for money and saying she was gonna go tell. Should Wanda Franco have come forward and say, "Yo, this is what's going on. I am I've been a victim in this situation." If he would have done that after he found out, I think he'd be viewed in a much different light right now. Um, but the fact that he kept it silent for another 2 months and tried to keep it quiet and got exposed makes him look terrible. Did the judge get it right? He was in jail for wasn't he in jail for a little while,
They were just
or
holding
was
him.
he on?
No, he was out. They
Okay,
they were
okay,
holding him pre-trial,
okay.
from what I understood, for his and during his first trial.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say judge got it right. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say they should bury him. This doesn't seem like the typical case where you have a grown man trying to exploit a minor. This seems like a special case. So for the fact that he'll probably like you said, Dave, he'll probably never play in the bigs again. His dream is shattered. Um, I don't know. I look at that as punishment enough. Your life is ruined pretty much. Nobody's gonna want to touch you. You got to get it out the mud. You got all the talent, all that potential wasted. Um, the mother getting 10 years, I absolutely agree with that because she and all the characters in this scenario, she's the absolute worst in my opinion. So her getting thrown in jail, I'm cool with that.
Let me
Him
let
not
me
getting thrown in jail, I don't know.
let me just say something real quick here. All right, this goes back to these guys get this money, man, and they don't know what to do with it. Right? This guy had a contract for $182 million guaranteed.
Hmm.
You're telling me that you couldn't take $100,000 and hire an investigator? He should be vetting everybody he dates, bro. Everybody. Go to MLB security. Hey, I met this young lady, but I'm a little concerned. She's in the DR. No problem. We'll put some people on it. And it's a service that they get through the MLB. They have access to MLB security. A lot of people don't know that. You can go to MLB security just like NBA players can go to NBA security, and they can have people vetted to see whether they're good for to do business with. Donovan McNabb's father has an organization where they they vet, they play middleman to players who have estranged fathers that are trying to get back into their sons' lives after they sign these big NFL contracts. And what they do is they play mediator, and they go out and they have investigators investigate these fathers and see what they're into, and they go back to these players and say, "Listen, you came to us. You wanted us to to do this, and this is what we found. Okay. Now it's up to you if you want to have a relationship with him. That's your father, whatever. But this is what we have, and we can play middle. We can facilitate these meetings for you. That's a private company. That's a private entity outside of the NFL that Donovan McNabb's father does. But the NFL absolutely has a security team that will vet this stuff. Why didn't Wander Franco go? Why, when you're making that kind of money, man, like why are you not vetting everybody that you come into contact with?
Dave, I got a question for you. You speaking as a grizzled vet who done seen some things and watched players uh, get caught up in this kind of web for decades. Is 22-year-old Dave Jones with $180 million or whatever, however much money Wander Franco had? Are you going to be worried about some cute young girl being in your face? Is your first thought going to be, "Ooh, I need to see what she's about"? Dave Jones from a poor community in the Dominican Republic who ain't never had this much money in his life, done hit a new level of stardom. Because we speaking as people who've seen this. We speaking as people who got a certain moral compass. We're speaking as people who are of a different culture. But when you go from nothing to multimillionaire instantly, as a 22-year-old or 21-year-old, however it was he was when he met this girl, your first instinct ain't, dang, let me go get a private eye to look into this situation.
Right. I agree. But Pedro Martinez said that when Rafi Devers and Frank Wander Franco, when these young guys hit it big, they have organization down there that they try to bring these young men in, and they don't want no part of it. They too cool for it. They're too cool. We know what we're doing. And the thing is, like, they have people that have tried to help them. They don't want it.
Let's let
So,
Josh jump in here.
so two things. One, Wander Franco knew the game before he got to the MLB game. He was once that poor Dominican kid who I'm sure he saw reports, saw instances, saw developed situations, saw the history of how you get a poor kid from the Dominican Republic who comes up. The first thing people are going to do is come after you for your money, come after you for the stardom that you just got. So Wander Franco wasn't a dummy. He knew what was going on. He knew what he was getting into the moment that girl stepped on the scene. He knew what was up. Let's not make it sound like these people are they don't have brains for themselves. They know what's going on. They know what's up. Now I agree. You throw a lot of dollars in somebody's pocket at that age, and that's all that they haven't known that for so long. Yeah, they're gonna go wild. Of course, they're gonna spend and they're gonna use that position a little bit. But he was no dummy. He knew what was going on. He knew what was
I
going
just like,
on. And I
okay.
agree. The mom does deserve some retribution here because she allowed her 14-year-old daughter to be in a position to
Allowed. She put her there. It's not like the,
Right.
the girl came to her and said, "Ooh, mom, I met
oh
this
no.
dude." Mom probably put her in Ronco
It,
Franco's
it sounds
radar.
like based off of what you said, Zeke, was the reports were he got involved, then later on the mom pressed him and he just hushed her with money. That's what it sounded like. So I
No,
wouldn't say the mom put
He
her.
met this girl, and when he found out what was going on, the mom was like, "Nah, I want some money." What it sounded like to me is mom put her on his radar. Mom dangled her out there. Money,
Right.
sex trafficking and
And
Yeah,
extortion.
she
That's what sex trafficking is.
what I'm
She
trying
put
to
him in, or she put her in his atmosphere. She
okay.
used her daughter as a come up.
And
So
if
she
that's
is
the
absolutely the
case,
scum of the earth for that.
and if that's the
well,
case, then
she's getting
one
10 years for that.
right. And
Exactly, and
and if
she
that's
deserves
the
more, in my
case,
opinion.
and if that's the case, if Wander Franco subjected himself to paying that to go for that, then he's just as guilty as her. He's just as guilty as her, and he should be doing equal punishment. He's not a victim here. He willfully paid that money out of his pocket to get involved. And like Dave said, didn't vet it. Didn't vet it. Didn't make sure. Didn't cover all the bases to make sure that he wasn't putting this big contract that he just came up on to jeopardy. Like he's not that dumb. What it was him thinking that his dollar bill was going to stretch him as far as it could. And as of right now, it honestly has. His
You know,
dollar bill is stretching him as far as not paying the full penalty of his crime.
it's not entirely incorrect what Lucito just said in the comments. He said that the mom pimped her out. He also said Latin girls, basically a lot of, I don't know if you could throw that up on the screen for us, but Latin girls, basically a lot of females look fully developed. Not saying it's right, but once he found out, he kept it going. Don't know how to call it, but he actually respects the judge's ruling, which sounds a little bit more in line with what you were talking about, Zeke. But very passionate debate, fellas. That was a really good topic. Let's make sure we save a little bit of time for this next topic because we're going to need Josh to be just as passionate on this next one as well. All right, let me set this up, fellas. So, Japanese baseball, the Japanese manager of the I don't know how to say that, Yomiuri Giants resigned after being arrested for alleged assault of for the alleged assault of his teenage daughter. So he tried to break. This is what happened. He tried to break up a fight that was happening between that daughter and his younger and her younger sister. Okay, so he tried to break a fight between his daughter and his and the younger sister of his daughter, right? By grabbing her by the collar, and he threw her down to the floor. Okay, the child then asked the AI, the popular AI app, the artificial intelligence app, ChatGPT, what should she do in this situation? As a result, it recommended that she call Child Guidance Center and report what happened to that Child Guidance Center. The Child Guidance Center, as a result, called the cops, right? And so the teen, the cops come to the house, and the teen has since reported that she broke down upon seeing her father apprehended. Now, the two have since reconciled after the father admitted to losing his temper. The teen was not injured. Okay. So that's what happened. The, the manager of the Japanese team has since resigned, right? He stepped down. Now, I know on this program, if you've been, a follower of the show, we've said a couple times Dave got pretty passionate on one of these things when we were talking about certain Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel on, some of his improprieties, and he's still a member or the head coach of the New England Patriots, as well as a number of other things that we can talk into, and we might even later about Josh Jacob, about a Rasheed Rice, and these people are not necessarily. Well, maybe Josh Jacob will lose his job just because of the legalities of it all. But we've seen this happen before, and there have been no fallouts to the degree of what we saw happen. But let me throw this to you, Josh. We've seen recently a manager and players keep their job for seemingly worse infractions. Let me ask you, what does that say about leadership as far as, what the Bible talks about being beyond or above reproach in Japanese culture? And, what role does, I guess, honor play in that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to Japanese culture and how I can only speak from movies and from the media, right? Where it's like samurais. It's historical knowledge that when they're defeated, they in battle, they they die an honorable death, right? Where they would slice their stomachs open or whatever, and and like two enemies where the one would have every right to kill him on the spot. They honored their foe in a sense. And so, I'm just looking at it from that perspective because like I can see it through both lenses. From my perspective as a Christ centered, God fearing man, right? My honor, my due diligence, my response um, to another confessing brother is obviously different, in a sense, to someone who I can't speak for what they confess to or what they do. Right? I can lead them to the foot of the cross. I can lead them to the one who has all the answers, but I can't speak to their current state or their current faith status. And so, with that said, I love how the Japanese seem to have this culture of honor and respect. And just reading through some of the headlines and short articles, um, it seems as though this manager stepped down because of the look, because of the respect that the culture exhibits. And so all of this stuff is allegedly, and as you read through some of those details, it's almost like, was she actually abused? Was she actually like her? Did this stuff actually take place, or is it all just this spoiled brat who had access to her phone and Chat GPT, put in a bunch of stuff, and now has her dad in deep crap for just parenting? Like, we don't know. It's all alleged. It's all alleged. And so uh, I don't know if that answers your question, but from the perspective, right, from the lens of a God fearing individual, to me, the same thing would be said of of a Christian, even much more a Christian leader, a person who is called to, there is a higher calling, right? The Bible speaks of those who are called to lead, especially in the church setting, in a in a community setting where they're the one who is up there preaching every week or teaching or involved in some sort of community outreach. These people are called to a higher standard, a higher way of living. And that's because with their actions there is a perception to things, right? And the Bible is very clear that to not perceive, let your actions perceive to any evil doing, right? And so leaders, especially in the Christian community, have to be conscious of their actions, because their actions point out a larger issue, and that's truly the heart of man. And so um, I believe that Christians, just in general, can learn from this Japanese culture and recognize that there is more honor in doing the right thing rather than hiding and covering up the bad. And that's my 2 cents.
Well, I know Zeke that you had a prior obligation, so you needed to go. So I'll throw this question to you real quick, Zeke, and then we'll let you depart, brother. Um, but given this, uh, what would you say regarding this story? And give your take as far as how this is a reminder of the fine line, because I know that me and you both have kids that you know. Have like an ADHD, and you got to have like greater patience with, right? And what would you say is how this story is a reminder of the fine line between sparing the rod and losing your temper?
Yeah, it's definitely a reminder that you really got to be careful with this generation. I I grew up in an era where if you even had the audacity to threaten to call child services on your parent, they dial a number for you and hand you the phone. Um, and they'd pretty much tell them. I got a coworker, and she said her child threatened to call child services. She wrote the number down on a piece of paper, handed her the phone, and told her daughter to have them send the ambulance because by the time they get there, they're going to need an ambulance too. All right. So that's not something that we dabble with. Kids these days, with the chat GPT and the AI and everything, and oh, what should I do? And people pushing this gentle parenting. I don't think anything that this man did was wrong. He walked in and sees his kids fighting. Yeah, he's gonna break it up. I think it got blown way out of proportion. I think the 18-year-old overreacted. Um, and I would like to know the type of conversation he had behind closed doors with the organization. Was this hey, we're either going to fire you or you can resign type of deal, or did he really go in there and fall on his own sword? I'm like Josh. I don't know much about Asian culture other than what I see in the movies, but from what I've seen, honor is a really big deal. Bringing shame upon any type of leadership and bringing shame on your family is a really big deal. Um, Mike Vrabel, obviously, he doesn't care. He did all of this. All of this popped up, and he showed up for work the next day. Um,
And the American culture
that
loves it.
that's that American arrogance for you, man. And I mean, and Robert Kraft didn't do anything because he wants to win, and he doesn't want to reset his organization with bringing in a new coach. So that's that American arrogance, that American greed. Uh, Bible
And he's
says,
used to
"Love
being
money
in
is
a
the root of
massage
all
parlor.
evil." So yeah, we're not going to talk about the massage parlors, no. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a very like I had to switch gears with my son because of the autism and the ADHD. I couldn't raise him like my parents raised me because the wires weren't firing. He didn't see discipline as they're doing this to correct me because they love me. He saw discipline as, oh, this is what I do. If so, I noticed that when he would get spankings as a child, um, he wouldn't cry like the normal kid would. He'd turn red and he'd ball his fist. I'm like, all right, this is teaching him something totally different. This isn't getting the results that we wanted, so we had to switch it up a little bit. Um, these days, kids, you can't raise them like we were raised, and that's frustrating for a lot of people because it works for me. My daddy whooped me and beat me with extension cords and curtain rods and all that. Dude, you were being abused and you didn't know it. My mom, like, famously, one of the episodes I talk about all the time with my mom is my dad went to grab something other than a belt, and she jumped in. She said, "We're not doing this," and I quietly walked to my room and let them discuss that amongst themselves. Um, but there's a thin line between discipline and abuse, and there's a thin line between, like you said, PZ. Um, I can't remember how you put it. Sparing the
Sparing the
rod,
rod and losing your temper.
yeah, and losing your temper. I mean, honestly, if my son had a sibling and I walked in and I see them fighting, yeah, I'm grabbing whoever is on top at that point. If it's him or if it's whoever. If I walk in and I see him and my nephew fighting like that, I'm grabbing and cut it out.
That's the key
Um,
part of this story too, Zeke, because like it's the older daughter that was fighting the
on
younger
top of the
daughter.
younger
The older
daughter. So
daughter is the one that got thrown.
yeah, it's like we don't know how bad she was beating up on this girl. Like, oh yeah, she's not hurt, but how's the daughter? How's the younger daughter? What kind of
Right.
condition is she in? Like, what kind of beating was she getting? So we don't know what caused him to walk in and go to that level of, hey, break it up. So there's a lot. There's a lot. I hate that he lost his job for this, for being a father. The simple fact that watching him get apprehended broke my heart, and I'm not hurt, we're fine. Then what'd you go through all these lanes for to report this if you're not injured and y'all
Crying wolf.
reconciled and it broke your heart? I don't want to hear all
Crying
of that
wolf.
after the fact. Your father just lost his livelihood for being a father. Now you got to deal with that. So I hope he gets another chance somewhere. Um, and I hope she learned a very valuable lesson in all of this.
Yeah, I wanna highlight that comment Lucito put up on the board. Put that I'm spanking first comment up there. This is talking about. But yeah, he said I'm spanking first, bro. I was punched with metal rods, wood sticks, anything you could think of. Bro, you might
Yeah.
have to ask Chat GPT, Cito, of
What's the statute of
you know,
limitations?
yeah, what's the statute of limitations on it?
I need some get back.
That's right. We call child services right now. We
Every
we got
time I
something
see
to
somebody
report.
mounting some curtains, I got PTSD. I have flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hit
Chat
me.
GPT about to tell on you. Mm-hmm. Let me
Tom Harris
stop.
type stuff. Wire hangers.
All right. Well, I'll go to you, Dave. But first, Zeke, thank you for your time. I know you had prior commitments, brother. You're good if you need to take off.
All right. I
Dave,
appreciate you guys.
CZ.
catch you
Later.
later, brother. Dave, what says you? You're muted, brother.
Not
The
anymore.
surprise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the muting. Josh, you live. Josh and I live in the same suburb, but Josh, I don't know if you can hear all of the sirens that's going off
Bro,
over.
I can't hear a single thing out of my left ear.
Oh, bro, the sirens are like something is definitely going on west of here. I don't know what the heck is going on, but the fire trucks and ambulances and police cars like for the last 30 minutes, it's been crazy. I don't know what's going on. But that's why I keep muting so it doesn't bleed over to the broadcast. But for me, the my biggest my biggest how can I put it, man? Like the mystifying part for me is in that culture. This happened in Japan, right?
Yes.
Japanese culture, just Asian culture, period. Whether it be Chinese, Japanese, Korean, there is a lot of pride there about you for your family, for your reputation, honor, that type of thing. And what mystifies me so much, man, is how far the cultural reach of you can't say anything to your kids anymore has actually reached Japan to the point where this daughter thought it was a good idea to question what her father did to her in that culture. The 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 patriarchal leader usually has the final say in Asian culture. You can tell that that's what goes on, and the fact that she thought, I don't know, maybe she wasn't, that she couldn't have been thinking because the results were her father got in trouble and lost his job. But the fact that she even got it in her head, I'm gonna go look this up about what I should do, and that baffles me because their culture is so based on tradition and not questioning the fatherhead, and that seems to like that doesn't matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I'm baffled by like what's going on over there. What, like, who are his daughters hanging around, or what's influencing them that is stronger or bigger than the tradition that they grew up around. Now, had I was thinking, he lost his job, maybe come to the States and get a job over here. And I was thinking, if he had to tear off in his daughter's behinds over here, you know, it'd be a different story. He wouldn't have to worry about going in front of the cameras and resigning. But then I thought about it. He probably would over here too, because America has gotten soft. You know what I'm saying? America's gotten soft. You got people. Uh, I heard. I was watching Sunday Night Baseball a couple years ago when Josh Donaldson got into it with Tim. What's his name from the Chicago White Sox? Tim Anderson. They were going back and forth, and Josh Donaldson joked around and said, "Hey, Jackie." He was calling him Jackie Robinson because Tim Anderson said he's the modern day Jackie Robinson. He was joking around with him. It was nothing racial, right? Josh Donaldson went in front of the media and answered every question after the game. He stood there the whole time. He had nothing to hide. He said, "Me and him have gone back and forth many a times, right? There's never been an issue." And the Sunday Night Baseball crew, a couple of nights later, were addressing that. And I'll never forget, Eduardo Perez said out of his own mouth, Josh Donaldson is being very quiet about this. He owes us an explanation. Like, he needs to come out. He needs to tell us, the three of us here. He needs to sit and tell us, and we need to hear from him what he meant by that. And he was framing it as, we're minorities and we want to know what he meant by that. Josh Donaldson didn't owe them nothing, and it's a soft culture, man. It's like you got these old heads that have even bought into this soft culture. That man doesn't owe you an explanation for nothing. You ain't Jackie Robinson. You didn't deal with what Jackie Robinson dealt with. Yeah, maybe you dealt with people calling you names and stuff like that, but you didn't deal with anything nowhere near what Jackie Robinson dealt with. Tim Anderson doesn't owe you anything. And that's the kind of culture, man, that's being pushed. That's the kind of softness that's being pushed. These guys that played a hard nosed game, even they're soft now, man. And it's like, if they're talking this kind of talk on a broadcast, that they're letting their kids run ruckshaw on them and talk to them any kind of way and run their homes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when did this all start, man? Like, when did it all start? I I I, I just don't understand it. I really don't. And to be completely frank with you, people are like, well, I don't condone, putting your hands on your kids. I condone it, bro. I can not only condone it, I recommend it. I recommend that you spank your children when they get out of line. Okay, because you spare the rod, you spoil the child. I'm not talking about abusing your kids,
Right.
but your kids need correcting at a certain age. I can't after my kids turn a certain age, I can't remember the last time that I had to put my hands on my children, man. Because if you do it one time and you do it the right way and it's done with love, you will not have to repeat it. And then before you know it, you're like, man, my kid was 5 or 6 years old the last time I had to spank them. And then you look up and they're like 18, 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, if it's done correctly and it's done with love, man, that's that's the key. But I think that society needs to stay out of people's homes, and stop telling people how they should discipline their children.
Yeah.
It's one thing to abuse your child, but if you walk into the room and your daughters are going at it, it's the first thing you're trying to do is get them separated by any means necessary. And if you have to sling one of them across the room to get them off, then so be it, man.
Yeah.
Agreed. Very
The
well put, fellas.
real quick though, to define abuse, abuse is to misuse someone harshly with no regard for the lasting effects of the misuse. Like
Mm,
that's how you would define it. And for me, like what I've learned is if I have to resort to the point where I have to spank my children, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna follow through. But then I'm gonna turn around
right,
afterwards,
right,
and I'm gonna let them know, listen, this is why I had to do this. And I'm going to explain it to them on a level where they understand, listen, I'm not here to just beat you up and to hurt you. I'm doing this because this is this is what I don't agree with, and this is what you have to do in order to get in back in good alignment when it comes to your actions, right? And so I've learned that you can't just leave the discipline at the beating. You have to
right,
follow through with explanation because they're the first thing they're going to do is almost like what Zeke was saying earlier. That anger is going to pent up inside of them, and what they're going to do is they're going to learn from a beating is whenever I don't agree with something, I'm going to get
throw
physical.
hands,
I'm going to get physical.
right,
That's what they're going to learn. But instead, when you turn around and you say, "Hey, listen, I don't like giving the beating. That beating hurt me more than it hurt you. And you may not understand that right now. But here's why. This is what I didn't agree with. This is why it got to that point. I had to intervene, I had to do something, but I care more about you learning from this than I do about the beating itself. Right? That's where we have to come to. And I'm speaking from a person who I can't even count on uh, both hands the times I've laid hands on my four children. I really can't. I don't. We don't spank much, and praise God for that. But um, that's the difference between a parent who cares rather than a parent who doesn't care and just does it because they don't know how to explain it. They don't know how to follow through and deal with the emotional effects afterwards.
Well said, fellas. Well
well said,
said.
man.
I want to make sure that we leave at least a little bit of time for our roundup, which is not a whole lot. But because I know we're running out of time on the podcast, we got about a good 5 minutes left here. Um, all right, so race legend Kyle Busch passes away at age 41. Um, I thought that story was crazy when I heard it because, I mean, if you know anything about racing, you've heard of the Busch family.
Yes.
Um, and the fact that he was 41 hits home because your boy's 41. You know what I mean? I'm there like, man, that's young. Uh, but apparently it was due. The family announced, like, I think it was like a day later when they finally announced like the actual reason for the cause of death, and it turned out to be a bacterial pneumonia that progressed to sepsis.
Mm, that's
Yeah, yeah. So R.I.P. race legend Kyle Busch. Um, okay, and I know we don't have too much time left, but real quick, do you want to get into the Josh Jacobs?
I mean, I guess you could mention it real quick, but we got enough into the whole abuse and
Yeah, I think that I
legal
think
legal issues.
all right, so we won't get into it, but we'll just let you know what essentially what happened in the world of the NFL. Packers star running back Josh Jacob was arrested and booked on domestic violence charges.
Yep.
Um, out in Wisconsin, booked on battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, strangulation and suffocation
man.
and intimidation of a victim.
He hit every branch on the way down, didn't he?
Jeez,
Yep,
man.
he'll be starting week
Allegedly.
one probably, knowing the NFL.
Yeah, yeah. There's a history of it. It seems like again, it's the one thing you got to say about the U.S. There's one too many graces. It feels like for
Yes.
Yeah,
individuals. You could do the worst of the worst and still get a chance.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Yep.
yeah. Well, fellas, it's been a great podcast. If you're just joining us, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave comments. In the comment section, we'll make sure that we try to address it. If you got any kind of good feedback for us as well, leave those in the chat as well. Check us out on our Facebook and our Instagram page. And for sure, Josh Jacobs, OJ Simpson. He's OJ Simpson? Nah, that's
Yo,
a bridge too far, I think.
that's
The
wild.
G wagon fits.
That's wild, man.
That's a bridge too far. He didn't kill nobody. Sounds like he did everything but kill somebody,
Everything
but
but, man.
everything but yeah. Yeah, that's a big boy too. Josh Jacobs, that's a big boy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, man. It's hard to handle right there, bro.
Yeah.
Prayers up for whoever he put his hands on, man. Not even playing.
You
I
know,
saw.
I will say this about that other story. That was the thing that was trippy to me. Like, is like they said that there was no injuries to that girl,
Right.
right? And so to me, like, if you're breaking something up, like if you rush into the room just because, I got four girls, they fight sometimes. What
Yep.
siblings don't?
Right.
If I rush into the room, and thank God I've never been in this situation, so I don't know for sure how I would handle it, but I think I would know. Where if I rush into the room and I see them swinging on each other, like fighting, not just like fighting, arguing, like you said I could play with this, right? That's different. But I'm talking about fighting, physical altercation, fighting. No, I'm going in there and I'm pulling them apart.
Right.
And, I'm doing it in such a hurry that, maybe I don't realize my strength in that moment. You know what I mean? And if one of them goes flying, you know, that that sounds like that could have been what happened there. We don't obviously know, but that could have been what happened. But if
Remember,
that was the case, then it's like, bro, I don't even know how
crazy,
you resign over something like that.
crazy stories.
But yeah, hey, great show, fellas. We'll next week we'll know the matchup for the NBA Finals, and we'll get into some NBA Finals talk next week. And yeah, we'll have a lot more to talk about then. Until then, make sure you check out the finals and the greatest Nick in franchise history, Mr. Jalen Brunson. Let me stop. He ain't there
Boo.
yet. He got to get us a chip. He ain't there yet. But guys, thanks for joining us.
All right.
Deuces.
Peace.